Hey guys, DToeller with video number 3 out of my Buffalo Bills playbook, the gun empty base scheme. The play I'm going to show you today is called dig, curl, read. First, what I like to do here is I like to put a fast, agile receiver in the right slot. I've got Devin Hester there right now, who generally doesn't have good catch or catching traffic, but they have the physical stuff, and I like to put him there because the route that player is going to run is a very high percentage pass, and I can generally in my CFM get a lot of catches to him and get him some good XP. If not, it's still good to have him there because he kind of does a really fast curl route, and you want somebody fast and agile that can get upfield for some yards after the catch potential. So again, it's dig, curl, read. It looks like that. The thing that I like about this play is there are 3 unique routes. From left to right, we see Jeffrey runs kind of this fake to the inside and then he cuts out. Bennett does that little stutter step up the middle of the field. I showed you that from my Bills inside stutter play. I'm going to show you more from it today. And then the Hester route, the right slot receiver just kind of does this really quick curl route. I have found that in game situations that route is open a lot. And if you have a receiver that you're trying to level up an XP, you can call this play, stick him in there, and just repeatedly call this play and try to get him a lot of XP by getting him 20 catches in a game. I had a guy in there who had like 50 catch, but he had like mid to upper 90s in speed, acceleration, and agility, and I almost caught 20 passes. He dropped like 5 of them, but he was open at least 20 times during the game. It was pretty sweet. So my setups for this particular play are I like to put the left slot receiver on a streak, and I like to put the far right receiver on a drag and then motion snap him. Against man-to-man coverage, your first defense, there are a lot of different options. My first thing with that, again, that guy doing the stutter step, what I have found is if you wait till after he does a stutter step and then you just lab it out there, it puts him in a really cool position. Let me try it one more time and see if I can actually get him to hold on to the ball this time. But wait till he stutter steps and then just lob it up to him. That didn't happen. What happened there wasn't normal. But next gen, you know, different stuff happens, which is kind of cool. But okay, there we go. Let me go into instant replay and show you what happened there. If you'll notice, because of that, those 2 guys, they're kind of, you know, my guy has inside position. When he does that stutter step, the guy gets about, I don't know, what is that, 3 yards ahead of him. And when I lob it up, it's kind of a jump ball. But the nice thing is my guy has underneath position, allowing him to jump up and catch that ball, you know, with that, I guess, like I said, underneath position. He's got the better playing. You know, in basketball, you box out in between the basket and the player, and you'd go up and get the ball. And that's kind of a similar concept where your player's in between the defender and the quarterback with inside position to just go up there and catch the ball. And it comes up for some really nice user catch abilities. I have found that it's generally, you know, there's maybe like a 75% chance you'll catch it and a 25% that he doesn't catch it. And it usually doesn't get picked off. So it's pretty awesome. Also, against man, watch the curl route that Hester's running, the inside, or should I say the slot right receiver. When he does this route, watch what the defender does. He'll kind of go out a little bit, and it allows me to bullet it in there and juke that guy out. I got about a 9-yard gain against man coverage. So, I mean, we can just keep doing that. And if you're really bent on throwing to that player and, like, you know, getting that XP boost from 20 catches, put the far right receiver on and out, and that'll take the other defender completely out of the picture. You can kind of watch here. I'll just kind of pull it in there right before he turns, and I get a nice block for my tight end. And if I run up the middle of the field, I can get some really nice plays, you know, out of that. There I was kind of slow turning around, Um, Yeah, you kind of got to have to time the pass right. But you can see it's a pretty good route because of how that defender just keeps going. He runs outside, and when my guy does his little curl, the guy's way outside, allowing me to catch the ball and get inside. Also, against man coverage, the far left receiver, you can lob it in there right when he makes the initial cut for, again, another user catcher play. Look at that. He gets good separation from his man, and if you got a guy like Alshon Jeffrey that just goes up and gets the ball, this play has a lot of really cool potential. Like, I'm going to show you there on instant replay when you throw the ball, because that's really important for this play. Jeffrey kind of does this route where he runs up down the field. He cuts inside. Right there, when he makes the cut, is when you want to just lob the ball up to him. He cuts in, and then he makes another cut. And you can see the ball gets there when the defender is trying to recover from the double move that Jeffrey just gave him. It allows you to kind of get that ball and get a nice 20-yard gain. And as you can see, the safety that would be over there was drawn to the middle of the field by the left slot receiver running that streak, leaving the far left receiver all alone to juke out his defender and get the ball. So it's kind of cool against man coverage. You can also do an inside bullet to the left slot receiver when he's downfield. That was not a bullet pass, sorry. You don't want to lob it. It's not a good idea. I think that should really be your final read. You kind of want to hit him like right there. And if he could catch in traffic, he'd have it. But again, that's not, with there being a lot of other really good ways on this play. There we go, he got it there. That's not the greatest throw, but it does work. So that is this play against a two-man under. Hey, what's up, you guys? Now let's take a look at this play with a cover 2 defense. The defense looks like that. My setups, I like to put the left slot receiver on a streak and the far right receiver on a drag, pretty much the same as before, and then I motion snap him. One of the things I really like about this play is the left slot receiver gets wide open way downfield. Look at that. You just got to time the play right. He gets right in between the safety and the linebacker that's covering him in this case. Because that guy's in a zone. He's not going to cover way deep. You can see when that guy kind of takes a step to the side, you have a lane to throw the ball right in there. And I think that's a key to this play, because your second read should be your far left receiver. Because if you're playing an opponent and you keep doing this throw, what they should do is start using that guy covering that left slot receiver. And instead of, like, what I would do if somebody kept running that against me is I would start using this guy and just cover, in this case, Matt Forte all the way down the field. Now, this guy right now on the field, Brown, he's really taking away the route to the far left receiver. If I show you that the defense again, oops. Okay, why? There we go. That's weird. Okay, if you can see there, the guy that is on the far left corner, he stays in a flat zone, and he's not really able to cover Jeffrey's route, which goes kind of a deep outside. But the Brown guy's sitting like right in the lane that I want to throw, and he comes in and can break that play up and sometimes intercept it. But if somebody starts using Brown, they're going to give you that route to Jeffrey, which is really cool. So What I'm going to do is I'm just going to send Brown on a, I'm going to make him blitz to take him out of the picture so that you can see what I'm talking about with Jeffrey. See there, he gets wide open if they take that guy out of the picture, which is really cool, which, you know, they probably won't blitz him, but I mean, if they do blitz him, it's going to leave Jeffrey wide open, which is really cool. But normally, like, I'm just by myself, but let me see if I can show you what would happen if they start to user Brown. Let's see if I can do this. All right. See that I wasn't able to like pass lead like a normal, but you could see there that he took it out of the picture. And now like if they don't do that, let me show you kind of what this play would look like. Like watch this route to Jeffrey. Brown comes in. I try to lab it up there. I mean that time it worked, but normally when I'm sitting there labbing, he comes in and picks it off. Let me show you that one more time. Wow. He's not really getting over there, but he was before. There you go. You can see he was getting over there. And when I was labbing this a lot earlier to learn all the reads and stuff on this play, it was pretty consistent that Brown was getting over there and making a play on the ball. And I threw a couple picks on it. There we go. There it is. You can kind of see. So I would avoid that route to the far left receiver if that linebacker goes over there. But if they start using it and bringing in a forte, hit that route. All right. Your third read for this play would be the far right receiver. And what you want to do is motion snap him and then give him an upfield pass lead right when he clears that defender. You can catch the ball and get some nice yards after the catch. You can see there I got a 15-yard gain off a drag. You just wait till he clears that upfield pass lead. And the reason that works, let's show you that in instant replay. The guy covering this guy right here, he's supposed to be covering, man, he's supposed to be covering kind of like right in here. But because of what the tight end does, he is sucked way upfield. I mean, his zone is like, come on. And if you just touch the stick, it zooms to a guy. He's supposed to be covering like right here. But you see, because of the tight end, he is drawn way, way, way downfield, leaving that middle of the field wide open. And when you pass the ball to that drag, he's got the ball and, you know, he's already moving toward the left side of the field, which means the guy behind him is not going to catch him. And he's got, you know, a good 5 yards before the rest of the players get to him. So you get a nice 15-yard gain out of that. It's pretty nice. And that's like it's at the cover two. The tight end and the right slot receiver, they really don't get open at any time during this play, you know, unless they start using different players to get them out of the way. But like if you try to throw the slot, I mean, I stuck it in there, but that was threading the needle, and I think that's kind of a risky throw. You know, there were two guys there to make a play, and as I mentioned, that guy that goes deep with Bennett, I mean, he's there pretty much the entire time to make a play. I mean, it's kind of that same idea with two-man under, where one of the nice things is my guy is underneath the, that in this case, the linebacker, which means my guy can get in there and get in front of him and catch the ball. But I mean, in this particular case, he's right there to make a play. Now, I think one of the differences between this and two-man under is that the linebacker is facing the quarterback the entire time, whereas the other one, his back is turned. So when my guy goes up and catches it, he doesn't always realize it right away. Whereas in this one, he's looking right at him. So I think he makes a better play on the ball when he's facing the quarterback like that. One last time. All right, that time I came down with it. So you can throw it up there for a nice user catch. But I think really your best read on this play is either going to the far right receiver or hitting your left slot receiver right in that tender area of the field after he clears the zone. All right, guys. Now let's take a look at the cover 3 defense. You see there's 3 safeties deep. There's a pretty good defense, but there's a lot of good reads. My setups, I have 2 setups for this play. The first one is I put the left slot receiver on a streak again, and I put the far right receiver on a smarted out route. Notice that's different. Normally he's on a drag, but when I see cover 3, which is 1 safety deep in the corners, playing about 10 yards back, I like to put Marshall on a smarted out route. I think it's almost an automatic against cover 3. My first read for this play, though, is the left slot receiver. He's going to get pressed on this play, and I want to fire the ball in with an inside pass lead right when he breaks off that press, right there. He gets in that lane between those 2 defenders, and it's pretty consistent that he gets about 10 yards right after that press. We're on the 30-yard line. I'm sorry, 20 yards. There I only got about 15, but still 15 is a great gain. You can see there, that's a 20-yard gain. It's pretty consistent, and that's pretty awesome. Now, you guys know how to do the smarted out routes. So you want to throw the ball with an outside pass lead. I throw it before he cuts. I know it well enough that I know, like right before, right there is when I throw it. I got some nice yards after the carry there. The catch is consistent. The ability to get yards after catch is not as consistent because sometimes he gets out of bounds. But there it was kind of nice. The reason that play works, on next gen, this guy covering the flat will often do a good job getting in front of that and even picking off a smarted out route. But because of Bennett, Earl Bennett, the right slot receiver, he's drawing the coverage of that defender. If you watch that defender, he comes down and covers Bennett. See how he kind of ran down on him a little bit, taking him out of the picture and leaving Marshall open, which is another key of zones. Hitting lanes in zones and having players take coverage away from other players is key to attacking zones. My third option is the route run by the left slot receiver. There's 2 ways to do it. The first way is right when he makes his cut, an inside pass lead. You just drive the ball right in there. It's fairly consistent. Sometimes the defender can make a play on it. It's not your best read on this route. I really think the left slot receiver is, but it's still a pretty cool route. The other way, like I showed you in some of the other defenses, you can just lob it up there. I have found that cover 3 covers this ball pretty well, but sometimes you can get extremely lucky like that and have Jeffrey catch a tipped ball. But that's not always super consistent. All right, my other setup for this play is that I put Forte on a drag, and then I motion snap him. And then usually you can just kind of hit him. The nice thing about that is if they find a way to take away, your route to Marshall, maybe they stick that safety that was playing that. He's technically a corner, but the guy that's playing that's lined up against Marshall. All right, if they maybe put him in a yellow and just sit him right there, or maybe a purple to take away that route to Marshall, and they maybe user the guy against Forte. You don't really have a relief route. If they're covering everything, there's not really much you can do because both Bennett's are covered pretty well. You almost never want to throw to them against cover 3. And if they find a way to stop both Marshall and Forte, you don't really have anywhere to go with the ball. So you're probably going to take a sack or run outside and try to throw the ball away. But having Forte on that drag gives you a relief route in case they start figuring out how to stop this play. The other thing is sometimes you can get the linebacker in this case that's covering Bennett. Like I said, there's never a time when you can throw to Bennett on this. I mean, that guy's going to step up and pick that ball off every single time. It's super annoying. And with putting the drag by that wide receiver, that left slot, technically it's a halfback, but putting him on a drag, sometimes you can get that linebacker to run up and cover that drag and leave Bennett open. It doesn't happen very often in cover 3. I would say 9 times out of 10 he goes on Bennett. But if he does, you got to throw. And if he doesn't, just hit him. You just hit the drag. And that's, a nice little 5-yard gain. And one of the cool things, the reason I bring this up with this second option with putting him on the drag, is because with this whole scheme of, this, not just this play, but this formation, there's quite a few good options with Forte, especially putting him on this drag. And I would just sit there and kind of piss my opponent off by just consistently, running this drag and doing that and make them adjust to it. And if they start doing that, then you throw them on the streak and hit them for a big gain, because they're probably going to take Brown out of the picture, to help cover that. And if that doesn't work, hopefully they'll start pulling that guy off Bennett and giving you a big gain. So I think that's kind of one of the cool things about really playing cat and mouse. If they start stopping that streak, start throwing the drag, and make them commit to that, and then go back to the streak. Make them kind of wonder what you're doing. I think having those different options are a good thing. So again, your first read I think should be Forte on the streak, second read Marshall on the out, and then Jeffrey. My recommendation is that bullet inside pass lead option for him. And if you want to have some fun, chuck it up there and let him just go get it one-on-one. And then if they start stopping it, put Forte on the drag. So that is against a cover 3. All right, guys, now let's look at a cover 4 defense. Cover 4 means there's 4 guys playing deep zones. There's a lot of great ways to attack the field. I think 4 of the receivers get open. Again, my setup is to streak the far left and drag the far right. Streak the left slot and drag the far right. My first read on this play is the tight end route, running that, the stutter step route. Because after we motion step the far right, you'll notice that linebacker comes down and covers the drag, leaving the tight end wide open deep down the middle of the field for big gains. One more time. He breaks down on that drag, catch the ball, 20-yard gain against cover 4. 20-yard gain against cover 4 is pretty cool, I think. Option number 2 is you can basically, as soon as you're able to throw the ball to that left slot receiver, you can. The problem is he takes a hit from the safety, so right there I got it in. Forte is one of the better receiving backs in the league, so against cover 4 I maybe wouldn't go against this if I had Marshawn Lynch in that slot. But if you have somebody like Forte or Spiller or Bush, those guys are great. And you can get the ball in there right in that tender spot, right? Like I said, right away. That guy kind of goes to the outside, catch the ball, and take a hit. But it's still, 10, 15-yard gain. My third option is to go to the right slot receiver, which if you'll notice, I moved Marshall to the slot and Hester to the outside. If I'm the Bears, this is probably the setup I'm going to use right here with the players. This is how I'm going to set up my chart, because I want Hester on the far right for a wide receiver screen, which is another play on this, because he's going to be really fast and agile for that screen. But you can hit Marshall as soon as she makes his cut against cover 4, It's pretty good. You're not going to get a big gain off it, but it's fairly consistent, which is really, really good. It's a high percentage throw. And then my final read would be to hit Devin Hester, the far right receiver, right there. And then I would just keep trying to run him up the left side of the field. You want to wait till he gets past, like, remember I said that linebacker comes down and plays him? Well, he's going to outrun that guy, so you just want to wait till he gets past him just a little bit, and then allowing you to kind of run upfield. You know, just keep his momentum the way he's going, and just, you know, don't cut it upfield right away, because if you do that, you're going to see that linebacker is going to catch up to him. Like, if I get the ball in and then try to run upfield, well, I juked him out because I'm Devin frickin' Hester. But, you know, a lot of times that's not going to happen. I'm supposed to cut upfield, sorry. I can't force myself to do bad things. But if I cut upfield, well, I get a block there. What the heck? Okay, just do whatever you want on that drag, all right? Just throw the drag and do whatever you want. Now let's take a look at the cover 2 sink. Cover 2 sink is basically a cover 2, except the outside corners are going to be playing yellow zones instead of flats. So I think this is a pretty decent defense, although on next gen, flats are boss. And I would typically run, I like this play on current gen, but on this defense, I should say, on current gen, but I'd typically go with just a normal cover 2 on next gen. The nice thing about this is it does a good job covering outs, but we're not throwing out on this play, so who cares? All right, my setups, once again, are streak left, slot, and drag the far right. There's a couple options here. Again, we motion snap Hester. My first read, I like to inside bullet that route to Jeffrey right as he cuts upfield. And actually, I throw before he cuts. Usually on this route, I'll wait until he cuts, but I have found more success if I throw it early, because sometimes if I wait too late, Brown can get over there. Because after he cuts, the inside pass lead is going to be more inside. Whereas if you throw it early, it's not going to be as inside, and it hits the window better. You can see that. All right. My second read is the drag. I think I usually hit him right there, and sometimes you can get that nice block by your tight end, and you're able to get upfield for some decent yards. There we go. Oops. What are you doing, Bennett? Get back to where you belong. Right, there we go. My third read would be to hit my tight end with an outside pass lead right there, about the time he does his stutter step. That's pretty good and consistent. And then you can also lob it up there, because again, the stutter step puts him underneath the defenders and allows him, again, underneath position, so he can go up and get the ball. And then my final read is the right slot receiver to Marshall. You got to throw it like right away. You got to time it just right. If you're too late, it can get picked off. And that's not the best route against this play. You kind of saw he kind of went up and got it, and then he went into beast mode and made a sweet play. But again, you gotta time it like as soon as you can throw that. You want to make that play. Marshall is going to go up there and catch it in traffic more often than not. But if you're too late, like if you wait a little bit, it gets even more open. So call me a friggin' liar. But from what I have found, if you wait, that guy gets in there. So you want to be careful about that. So yeah, that's cover 2 sync. That's really all the plays for this. I thank you guys for checking this out, and I hope it helps you and you enjoy this game. Thanks. Have a good day.